another worse domination, Italian. Italian domination. I reserve all these steps for you, ladies and gentlemen. Just simply 15,000 seats. All the best seats, not in this season, but if you come to Syracuse in May and June of every year, the audience coming and sitting on the steps, they didn't sit on the original limestone steps carved out of the natural rock. At that time, they performed for 2 months the festival of Greek tragedies. The most important Italian actors and actresses dressing like the old Greeks, in the night, they light the stage by torches, not by the electric light. And dressing like the old Greeks, they still perform the unique level of Greek plays by Aeschylus, Sophocles, Euripides. Anything else? No opera invented less than 175 years ago. No philharmonic orchestra music concert. Much more worse level of shows, performance in use now. Just the Greek tragedies.
In Greek?
In Italian. In Italian now. How many people talk Greek? Also noble Greek, also in Greece. Very difficult. Now,
Go down
because
there to
no,
test the acoustics?
no, couldn't do that because you know the area is closer to the tourists. But during the festival, no.
Could you
I
sing
have to
for us?
respect
Go down
it,
there
no.
and sing?
No. Well, during the season of the festival, they let the guides go to walk down below, and I still talk by the same tonality I use now with you, far away, and my tourists sometimes sit up there, and they easily hear my voice. The Greeks, they didn't invent the shape of the theater on one day, in few seconds. That was a very long evolution in the history of the theater. And in the two oldest theaters, which are the theater of Dionysus, god of tragedy and life in Athens, and this one in Syracuse, you've got some evidence about the archaic shape for the steps and the shape of the theater. You know, watching at the bottom of steps, you easily see the orchestra. No, orchestra, the original Greek word orcheomai, orchestron, means dancing area. Not musicians as everybody translates now. Orchestra. The player of a piano, guitar, etc. No, that was incorrect. In the Greek history of the Greek theater, orchestra was one of the 3 elements. The stage exists behind, you know, moving from the level of the tree down below to the left till the rocky pillar on the opposite side of the ruins. The huge rectangular empty area was covered by a 2-story building, the stage of the theater, representing the front of a royal palace. And on the first upper store level of the building, you easily imagine 3 doors related to the small numbers of actors on the stage. Actors in the ancient Greek theater were always 3, and they were all men. Same tradition exists in the ancient history of Asian theater, Central Southern America civilization, Africa. And you check that visiting some archaeological museum all over the world. Much more easily evidence you get visiting the museum in Athens or the archaeological museum in this town. You have collection of wooden, silver, bronze, golden masks. Example, when the actors perform on this theater the play by Aeschylus, Agamemnon or Percy, you find on each play 15, 16 different characters, parts. That means that 3 actors, they continuously change masks. Changing masks, they change the parts. So the actors stay on the stage, while the element at the bottom of steps was the orchestra dancing area. Aeschylus abandoned his town Athens to come to live and to spend the last 20 years of his time life living in Syracuse. And when he came here, what I remind you, actors were 3. At that time, actors, and you know how many actors exist on the stage? Just 1. And the only actor was probably, or quite surely, the playwright. Who wrote the play? Aeschylus wrote the play, so he knows the words of his play. That's why he was the only actor on the stage. But after he was acting for 3 hours, talking and changing masks, he lost his voice. He was out for weeks and weeks' time. That's why he had the brilliant idea to introduce a second actor. And much more better than that, Aeschylus later on died, and Sophocles, the second marvelous Athenian tragedist, introduced the third actor. Before dying, Aeschylus in Syracuse invent the never existing element of the theater at the bottom of steps, orchestra. Imagining on the orchestra 15 boys who easily dance around, introducing with their songs to the audience the history of the play. Dancing area. Very important element, because the actors came on the stage and they talk for 15-20 minutes time. After they do that, they easily move on the backstage, changing masks. And during that time, the chorus dancers entertain the audience, introducing to the audience the next passage, moment of the play. Very important element. Linking the two separate elements, which were the actors on the stage and the people, the audience, sitting on the koilon. That's the Greek word for the steps of a Greek theater, koilon. Cavea had to be related to a Roman theater on the Latin language, different by the Greeks, or to the Roman amphitheater level of steps. Koilon, and the corridor behind you, the azoma, was easily separating the upper steps reserved to the major number of seats from the lower seats reserved to the rich and noble people. The rich come and pay the entrance fee by themselves. But most of the population, 93, 94, 5% of the total number of citizens in an ancient town, and on some modern huge megalopolis now, were poor. That means without job, without money. So the poor, they couldn't pay the entrance fee to the private organization. That's why the marvelous Athenians imagine the theater like the school of life, the place of the paideia, which means the education of the Greeks. Finally,